Hello, dear student. I am Pankaj M. Patel, Assistant Professor, Vadasma Engineering College. Today, I am going to teach you subject Irrigation Engineering. Module 1 is continuous. This is lecture number 2. In this lecture, we will see about soil-water plant relationship. The relationship between soil, water and plant is very important. They cannot live without each other. Soil is very important for plant, and as well as water is also important for plant. And with the help of plant, soil erosion is not done, and with the help of water, we can get maximum development in plant and maximum yield in crop. So, dear friends, dear students, soil-water plant relationship is a process which require to be regulated to maximize yield, means maximize production of crop with a given unit of water. Okay. Now we will see what is the role of soil in the development of crop. So soil acts as a structural base to the plant, act as foundation. It is a foundation for the plant. It provides space to grow up the plant. Now, what is the role of soil? The soil store water. It not only store water, but it also provide nutrition to the plants. And it is the responsibility of soil to store enough capacity of water or to retain water so that plant is developed. And you can see each crop require different environment. In wheat, if less capacity of soil is due, but in rice crop, the soil is fully saturated of water, and the total quantity of water is consumptive use of water. So when we are giving water to the crop, two phenomena occurs. Number one, evaporation, and number two, transpiration. Now evaporation means when you are going to give the water all the crops area, it evaporates by the sun heat. And in the transpiration, the water which enter in the root of the plant and going from his full body with the help of sun heat, it disappears from the leaves of the plant. It is called transpiration. And the evaporation and transpiration, the both words are speak by evapotranspiration. So soil is most important or necessary, act as a foundation. Now we will see that nutrients are very important for the plant. When we are giving fertilizer to the soil, water is necessary. so that water dilutes the fertilizer and gives the nutrition to the plant. And you see, in fertilizer, there is a concentrated salt in fertilizer. So it's the duty of water to dilute it so that plant readily use the fertilizer. And in addition to water, air must also present in the root zone for the respiration of the microorganism. Microorganism is also necessary for the development of the plant. It provides favorable environment for the development of the root and absorption of the nutrition. So, friends, for the proper growth of plant, enough quantity of water, air and nutrition must be available in the root zone. Now we will see the classification of soil water. So there are, the water is added to a soil during irrigation or is held in the pores of the soil mass, which is termed as soil water, or it is also called soil moisture. It is classified in three parts: gravitational water, capillary water, and hygroscopic water. Now friends, you can see that hygroscopic water, we will call it unavailable water. It is at the bottom of the figure. And capillary water, it is available water. And the third part is gravitational water. So water absorbed by its gravity, and above part is dry soil. Now one by one we will see what is gravitational water. So gravitational water is that portion of the total water in the soil which is free to move under gravity. It is that the water which is not held by the soil, but it drains out freely under gravity. That water occupies the large pores in the soil. As the water is added to the soil, the amount of gravitational water increases. And the upper limit of the gravitational water occurs when the soil is fully saturated. The water content at the stage is known as saturation capacity. Now the second part is capillary water. The capillary water is that water contained or retained in the soil after the gravitational water has drained off from the soil, is known as capillary water. It is held in the soil by the surface tension force in the form of film around the soil particle. And that water is not free to move under gravity. So that water is available to the plant. The plant roots gradually absorb the capillary water and the water content of the soil decreases. In fact, it is a principal source of water to the plants. Therefore, it is also called available water. Now, what is hygroscopic water? The hygroscopic water is also called unavailable water, which is not available to the plant. The hygroscopic water is the water which is absorbed by the dark soil particle from the atmosphere, and it is held as a very thin film around the soil. It is held due to adhesion force, or the attraction between the surface of the soil particle and the water particle. So that it is called adhesion. It is the attraction between soil particle and the water particle. And what is cohesion? So cohesion is the attraction between soil particle to soil particle and water particle to water particle. It is cohesion. And what is adhesion? So adhesion is attraction between soil particle and water molecule. And air dry soil will contain hygroscopic water. Since the hygroscopic water is held with the considerable force, it cannot be removed easily from the sand particles, and that water is not available to the plant, therefore it is called unavailable water. So based on the availability of soil water, the water is classified in the three parts: unavailable water, available water, and superfluous water. You can see in the figure the part of gravitational water, the part of capillary water, and the part of hygroscopic water. You can see that after draining out of gravitational water, soil at field capacity, in the third figure, after extraction of available water by the plant, and in last, after drying in oven, moisture containing 0. Now we will discuss some definitions. What are the soil water constants? What is saturation capacity? It is the amount of water required to fill all the pore space between the soil particles by replacing all air held in the pore space. Is called saturation capacity of soil. It is also known as maximum water holding capacity of soil. Now next term is field capacity. When we are giving water to the field, some water is go to very deep due to the force of gravity, but some water is retained, which is very helpful to the development of the plant. So it is field capacity. So water retained by an initial saturity of soil against the force of gravity. At field capacity, the macro pores of the soil are drained off, but water is retained in the micro pores. So you understand what is field capacity. Soil water content when gravity drainage becomes negligible. So in this capacity, soil is not saturated but still in wet condition, and that water is enough for the development of the plant. Now what is permanent wilting point? What is wilting point? Wilting point means there is very less or no water in the soil. Water content at which plant can no longer extract sufficient water from the soil for its growth. Plant want to grow, but it not get water from the soil. And the permanent wilting point is at lower end of the available moisture. If the plant does not get sufficient water to meet its needs, it will wilt permanently, it will dry. And the permanent wilting point is usually expressed as the weight of the moisture held by the soil per unit weight of the dry soil. When the plants are permanently wilted, means permanently die. In examination, there is a definition is, or in the Viva time, most of this definition is asked by the teacher or faculty. Now, what is temporary wilting point? Temporary wilting point means it denotes the soil water content at which the plant wilt at daytime. जो दिन के टाइम में है ना, वो जो प्लांट है वो मर जाता है, but recovers during night or when water is added to the soil. But at the night time, from the atmosphere, it gets enough moisture or water for its development. And what is ultimate wilting point? So the plant wilts and fails to regain life even after addition of water to the soil. Sometimes we can see that all the soil is dry and its leaves also become dry. But after addition of some water, it's regain its life. So students, you can understand what is the difference between permanent wilting point, temporary wilting point and ultimate wilting point. These are important definitions. Now we have understand that what is available water, what is non-available water. So for the 1 mark in the definition, water held in the soil between field capacity and permanent wilting point is available water. And the depth of its units is depth of available water per unit depth of soil, that is unitless. Now for the field capacity, you can see the big particles of soil particles, and in figure you can see the white portion is for air and the remaining portion is for water. So you can see that there is enough water between the soil particle and air particle. So it is very important for the development of the plant. It is called field capacity. And you can see that in the permanent wilting point, what happened in the soil, that all the portion is covered by the soil particles and air particles, and there is very less quantity of water. You can see the thin film around the soil particles. So this figure is expressing what is permanent wilting point. Now friends, we are going to discuss the types of soil. Which types of soil in our India? So there are 8 major types according to Indian Council of Agricultural Research. One is alluvial soil, second is black soil, third is red soil, fourth is neutral soil, 5 is desert soil, mountain soil, saline and alkaline soil, and marshy soil. Now we will go one by one. You can see what is alluvial soil. In Gujarati, we are telling it Goradu Jamin. Alluvial soil, we can see it is the most important types of soil found in India. In India, there is a 40% of the total land area is alluvial soil. It is very fertile and contributes the largest share of the agricultural wealth. This type of soil is very necessary for the development of the plants. This soil supports nearly half of the Indian population. We can get very much amount of crops production from this type of soil. And this type of soil is found in northern plain, starting from Punjab in the west to the West Bengal and Assam in the east. It is also found in the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri river. The northern parts and the coastal area of the Gujarat also have some deposit of alluvial soil. Many rivers originate from the Himalaya mountain and brings a large amount of sediment. ગુજરાતીમાં એને કાપવાળી જમીન પણ કહેવામાં આવે. So large amount of sediment which carried by the river is deposited in the river valley and in the flood plains. Thus the parent material of the alluvial soil is always of transported origin. So the fine particle of sand, silt and clay are called alluvial. The alluvial soil can be divided into old alluvial also. Now second is lateral soil, laterite soil. In laterite soil develop as a result of excessive erosion by the rain. When the rain come with very fast intensity, so the soil erodes. Due to heavy rain, the humus content from the topsoil descend into the lower strata, which is called leaching. And as the soil contains less humus, it is fertile. Such soil is found in mountainous region of Deccan, Karnataka, Kerala, Odisha, and some parts of the northeast. The third type of soil is black soil. You can see that by color it is also black. When there is a less rain, you can see in the second figure, black soil is appear. This type of soil is found in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu. This soil is very sticky and fertile, and it contains humidity for a prolonged time. It is formed from the metamorphic rock and useful for the cotton cultivation. So sometimes it is also called black cotton soil. It is also known as rigger soil. Now next is the red soil. You can see that by color it is also red. Such soil is found in region of igneous and metamorphic rocks. and it contains red color due to ferrous and other humus content. This soil is porous and fertile. Such soil is found in Goa, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Jharkhand, and we can get crops like groundnut, tobacco in the red soil. Now it is a desert soil. In desert, it is very difficult for the plant even though we can found some plants are developed in desert soil also. At the night time, that plant get moisture from the atmosphere. In summer, when the sand is very hot during daytime, but at the night time the soil become very cold and plant get moisture from the desert. Now you can see this saline soil. In saline soil, you can see the top portion of the soil is totally white. It contains very much portion of the salt, and that types of farm is not useful for the plant production. And if you want to decrease the amount of salt, you have to use very much amount of water for the dilution of salt. Alkaline soil. Acidic and alkaline. These soil are formed when there is a inadequate drainage of the irrigated land or when the water table is very much high. And this soil have a high concentration of soluble salt and exchangeable sodium ions. This soil usually appear in the form of white effervescent crust on the surface of the land, and these soil are not suitable for the cultivation unless reclaimed by adopting suitable measures. Students, we have seen in this lecture types of soil, some important definition like field capacity, saturation capacity, permanent wilting point, temporary wilting point, ultimate wilting point, available moisture, three types of water: unavailable water, available water, superficial water. We also learn in this lecture classification of soil water, gravitational water, capillary water, and the hygroscopic water. And we can understand what is the relationship between soil, water, and plant. Now, in third lecture, we will see what is the water requirement of crops. So, thank you very much for attending this lecture. Okay, we are stop here.